The Sith are gone, a painful memory beginning to recede from the galactic consciousness. In the wake of the Emperor's demise, many among the ranks of the Final Order are rushing to outposts throughout the galaxy. Inside these outposts, the Emperor's forces had previously gathered numerous Force-sensitive children who were once destined to slave away at the biddings of the Sith Lord. The mission of the Final Order remnants is simple: to kill the children. It is an effort undertaken to ensure that these younglings cannot join the ranks of the rumored new Jedi Order, which is rising across star systems in the galactic core. As a score of stormtroopers rush to the planet Araleen to dispose of the Force sensitives, a young Jedi Knight and her apprentice take chase. The night was cold, bitter by most standards. Commander Ravis and his company had only arrived a moment ago, traversing a quiet path through a forest towards Outpost Atreus. The outpost had been named by Sidious after a Sith Lord who had existed during the time of the Old Republic. Commander Ravis had previously dispatched troopers to outposts Kaaba and Malak. He knew full well that if the Jedi were to follow, they couldn't be in 3 places at once, attempting a mass liberation. Though Araleen was mostly a forest planet, there were areas on the surface that looked more akin to dry deserts. These places had been leveled by the Final Order to construct their outposts. Suddenly, there was a sound in the trees, causing one of Ravis's stormtroopers to flinch.
What was that?
Ravis turned towards the stormtrooper.
It was nothing. Probably wild hog skinks. Keep moving. The outpost is only 3 clicks away.
The troopers eventually found their way out of the forest and arrived at Outpost Atreus. It was a simple yet dark place, a large grey tower with an open foyer. There was another rustle in the trees behind the stormtroopers, and Commander Ravis turned quickly. There was a figure, a human one, not some hogskink as theorized previously, and the troopers came to attention, raising their blasters defensively towards the trees.
Stay calm. I just want to talk.
The voice was enough to make the troopers open fire. The figure withdrew a hilt, and immediately a brilliant blue blade of plasma was extended. Clearly, this was one of the Jedi that Commander Ravis had tried so desperately to evade. Every blast that was propelled towards the Jedi came flying back at the stormtroopers. Ravis knew precisely who this was, but even now he found himself labeling the Jedi as FN-2187.
I need everyone to drop their guns and stop firing.
They won't listen, Finn. Just keep the commander alive.
Ravis recognized the voice of the Jedi fugitive Rey. He had heard stories about how she had defeated the late Emperor Palpatine. He knew that fighting against Rey and her apprentice Finn would be a futile endeavor.
Drop your weapons, troopers.
All the other troopers in his company looked towards Ravis with a sense of bewilderment. But after a moment of hesitation, the remaining troopers threw their weapons down obediently. Finn lowered his saber and looked towards the stormtroopers, surprised. This had never happened before, and on most occasions he and Rey had been forced to fight the soldiers, so to see them obeying a Jedi was strange to say the least. Finn stepped forward, keeping his lightsaber ignited. This could be a trick or a ruse. There came another rustle from the forest, and Rey stepped forward. She came to Finn's side and faced Ravis.
You will take us to the younglings.
As Rey said this, she gestured her hand swiftly towards Ravis, subtly pushing her request forward with the Force. Ravis knew that Rey was doing a classic Jedi mind trick, and Ravis was one of the stronger minds in the ranks of the Final Order, so Rey's mind trick had no effect. Nevertheless, Ravis straightened himself and spoke, playing along with Rey's assumption that the mind trick had worked.
We will take you to the children.
Ravis turned away, and he led his company of troopers towards Outpost Atreus. Rey and Finn followed close behind as the stormtrooper commander began to carefully plot the demise of the 2 Jedi Knights.